This is Laine of the Copenhagen Voice at a meeting at the Danish Institute of International Studies about Barack Obama. With me is Waever of the Center for Advanced Security Theories at the University of Copenhagen. Oda, a couple of hours ago, Barack Obama was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace in Oslo. Do you see from his rhetoric and his actions so far that we are having the type of change that he has promised?
No, I would say basically, and that's of course why it has also received so much criticism, that he has only cleared, so to say, the easy part of the track so far, where he mostly talked about what he would like to do, and also he was able to avoid difficult dilemmas by the fact that in a sense he could live off the energy from the kind of general global relief of getting rid of George Bush, to put it bluntly. So the fact that everyone found it much easier to deal with Obama meant that he could, in a sense, avoid some very difficult dilemmas. He could lead by example, he could lead by diplomacy, he could lead by nice means instead of by the tough means. So in that sense, it seemed like there was another way of being a leader of the world, which was not the Bush way. I think this is still a kind of temporary solution, because ultimately there will be situations where the world does not want to be led, and where people will say, no thanks, we don't agree, we don't follow your example. What then? Then he will have a tough choice of going back to some more radical, multilateral, truly engaged, more really internationalist policies like in the Cold War period, of the kind of cooperation that the US did then, or he would have to be more bluntly unilateral. I think that choice will come out, and in that sense it's a little early to say that he has made a big change. Still, I'm pretty happy that he got the prize, in the sense that I hope for him to succeed with that change, and I think the prize will help him to do that change. So in that sense, it's a good, wrongly based prize.
So where do you see the threats that he will have to deal with in the near future?
There will be things like nuclear weapons in Iran. There will be always be surprises. There will every year there's a new crisis that no one predicted, and every time you have to deal with it. Sometimes you can easily get international agreement on how to deal with it. Sometimes not, and if not, there will be the dilemma of how you cooperate. Do you accept true international multilateral cooperation, or do you want to lead the world?
We are seeing he's having some problems in the US Senate with the health bill. He will probably have problems in the US Senate with the climate.
Yes, and with the nuclear weapons treaties that we'll all talk a lot about today because of the prize, yes.
But do you think he will be able to solve those problems through his rhetoric and his charm, or will he have to work in other ways?
No, I think we shouldn't underestimate his charisma and his personality. I think he has some very strong things going for him. As a person, he is an asset for himself, and the whole story, the phenomenon, the fact that he was elected is still tremendously appealing to a lot of people. And also, he seems to be an extremely good manager of his own system, of using advisors, running the administration, and all that. So he has lots of things that makes that, if anyone can do it, he can do it. So he can handle very difficult situations. But still, the risk is that getting treaties through the Senate will be very difficult. At best, he will get watered down compromises. I don't see at the moment, unfortunately, the necessary climate legislation going through the Senate at all. So in that sense, taking the other big issue of these days, the climate issues, the American political system is very far from signing up to what it has to sign up to if we should make agreements that would actually work.
Many people have commented on, criticized what they perceive as American domination in world politics. Do you see this changing?
I think that's where we are in this kind of interregnum, that it's easy to disagree with the leadership, the domination, the hard way. Now you get a leadership the nice way, and then people can say that that's okay. It's leading by example and so on. That's better often than the alternative, which is chaos or leadership by someone else you dislike even more. But the problem is that this is partly an illusionary solution, because you can't lead by example forever, and you can't organize things by just talking, because sometimes people don't agree. And what then?
Do you think in this situation we can see more countries or leaders trying to take advantage of what they see as a weakened US?
Yeah, I think we'll basically eventually get a system with less global leadership. The US is the last superpower, and after that we'll have a period with no superpowers. We will not have a new bipolar rivalry between two superpowers. We will have a system where the US abdicates from that role as the global superpower, and we will have a system with less centralized power, basically. It will be a more decentered, slightly more chaotic, more incoherent global system. And in some ways that will be better than having too much attempt to lead the wrong way. Sometimes it will be much worse, and we will all long for the days when there was US leadership. But the most likely we'll have a system with less leadership in the future.
How would that put the UN?
Also weakened. You could think it would be strengthened. It will sometimes, but often it will be weakened by the fact that simply you will have a more case-by-case relationship between the great powers. Sometimes they will come together, sometimes not. And if not, there is no global action. There's just a vacuum at the top, and you will have more the regional realities dominating. We'll have a more regionalized world where different parts of the world will go their separate ways.
So, a safer world, a more secure world?
No. That depends on more actors. It will be more decentralized, more people will be involved in shaping the world in their part of the world. So we will have improvement in some parts and deterioration in others. A more messy world in the sense that you will have many different trends at the same time. So you might have a better Latin America and a worse situation in Africa, and different parts of Asia developing in different ways. I think we will have less of one unified story, because there is no one to unify the story anymore.
So more dialogue between leaders?
More ad hoc solutions, and no guarantee that there's anyone in charge.
Waever, thank you much indeed.